Hello to all you movie barfs, and welcome back to the channel. If you've seen the ending for Avengers Endgame, you'd know that one of the final scenes of the movie involves Captain America suiting up in order to time travel back to the different timelines. He had to return the Infinity Stones and Thor's hammer to their proper places. Now this would have been an entertaining movie in itself. Imagine Captain America having to face the Red Skull again after 70 years. But instead of returning as expected, the quantum tunnel remained empty, despite Smart Hulk's attempts to bring Cap back home.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
The camera then shifts to a nearby bench, and we see that Steve Rogers decided to stay back in another timeline with Peggy, and that he has happily lived to a ripe old age. Seems like a happy ending, yeah? Not quite. There's a slight problem when we consider one of the plot points established in the film earlier. Time travel is always a messy plot device, and thanks to previous entries in the sci-fi genre like Back to the Future, among many other titles that Rhodey jokes about, it's always believed that going back to the past can have lasting effects on the future. However, for Avengers Endgame to work, the filmmakers went out of their way to change the pre-existing notion of time travel itself. Smart Hulk covers this in their time travel test. He figured out that going back to the past does not change the future, since the past that you are traveling to is effectively now your future. In other words, when you travel back in time, you create a totally different timeline from the one you came from. So if Cap was in another branch timeline living with Peggy, how could he show up back in the original timeline as an old man? He should be living in another timeline, separate from the one he left Sam and Bucky behind. That is, unless he time traveled back to the original timeline he left. But that is not possible since he didn't appear back in the quantum tunnel. After the film's release, not even the creators seemed to agree, with directors Joe and Anthony Russo saying he went into a branch timeline, but writers Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely saying he was in the main timeline and that there were even Easter eggs to prove it. Overall, to keep in line with the film's new time travel rules, it seems that the most likely explanation is that Steve Rogers did travel to live in a branch timeline with Peggy, somehow returning to the main timeline unbeknownst to the audience. This is a minor plot hole and something we just have to deal with and accept, especially given the mind-boggling nature of something so impossible as time travel. It is still a powerful and emotional scene, one that resonates with the audience as we finally get the satisfaction of seeing Steve Rogers find a greater measure of happiness in his life, one that he had to give up to save the world 70 years before. Now, with Chris Evans possibly returning to the MCU, perhaps we might have some closure on this question in the near future. So, what do you think? We'd love to hear your comments down in the section below. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out some of our other videos too.